I never thought I'd see the day where I feel bad for a gacha company, bro. I ain't gonna cap. But I genuinely feel bad for Tribe 9 because I think they are a gacha game that's a lot better than a number of gacha games that are doing incredibly well. Fate Grand Order, fucking dog water game. The only people that play that shit are people who can't convince themselves to drop a game that they've spent thousands of hours and dollars into. Dog shit game. There's like literally 87 gacha games right now that are doing well that are so much worse than Tribe 9. But yeah, this is not clickbait. They actually did end the service. They just announced it right here on their Twitter page. They said, "We regret to inform you that service for Tribe 9 will be terminated on November 27th. Since the game's launch, the development and operations teams have strived to provide excellent service and improve player experience. However, after careful consideration, we have made the difficult decision to end the game's service." Man. Now, I will say November 27th is about 9 months away. I'm going to be a bit facetious here. Probably 9 months away because that's when they're going to have their kid from getting royally fucked by whatever management team decided to open up with that launch. Man, dude, I know this actually really does feel bad. I'm not going to lie to you. I have a lot of thoughts I want to share about this because some of you guys might be thinking that this game is into servicing because of the launch, but no, that's not really the case from my point of view. I think there's several reasons, several like variables that go into Tribe 9 just not performing well. It isn't just the real bad launch, which don't get me wrong, it was bad. Pretty much to catch you guys up who don't know, Tribe 9 did a launch where you could play the game for 8 hours, the first 8 hours, and you would only get like 4 pulls or 5 pulls or something crazy like that. Like the launch incentive was just egregious. On top of that, their initial pity system was also dog water as well. It was like some shit where like if you didn't do a 10 pull, if you only did like a single pull at a time, the rates were even more scuffed for getting characters like 4 stars and stuff, to the point where it wasn't worth doing a single pull ever. It was like a lot of jank things. Anyways, the community ripped them apart. And, you know, unfortunately, when things like that happen, reputation is something that is not easily reconciled when it's a first impression. When it's a first impression, you know, people are really cutthroat out here. And I don't think that's necessarily the only reason why, though. Because here's the thing, guys. Tribe 9 never really captured a sizable market with its launch. It's not like everybody in the gacha space was going, wow, I can't wait to play Tribe 9. It was actually quite a niche game. Beautiful art medium. They had the Danganronpa team behind them, not developing the game, but they used them for their art style in some of the story direction. But Akatsuki Games is actually the people who developed this game. And I was a fan of the game. In fact, it breaks my fucking heart because I am pretty sure that they put their faith in me I mean, I don't have a fact on this. I think I was the last person they sponsored. They sponsored me with this video. And in the brief, man, I could tell they really wanted me to use the Gacha Smack magic to try and bring some people back into their game. And I tried, man. I really did. I even threw it into another integration here, promoting the game inside of here. 40,000 views in total to try to get people to, you know, to download the game. It feels bad, dude. No, I failed Tribe 9, boys. I failed it, man. Getting back on topic, I don't think it just was the launch that failed it. I think it was also a niche game to begin with. I think it also had a Zenless Zone Zero problem. And what I mean by that is Zenless Zone Zero had one of the most worst fucking launches ever. The game was brain dead easy. There was no fucking like intuitive like motivation to even learn the combat in the beginning. It was just a steamroll, fucking hit my head against a wall trying to get to the end game, trying to get to the progression phase of the game to where combat would actually start to matter. And unfortunately, that deterred a lot of people away from Zenless Zone Zero, right? Tribe 9 had the same problem. A lot of the game's beautiful elements, much like Zenless Zone Zero, its mechanisms and its true beauty in the game where it flourished the most, you didn't get to that part until you really got to the second half of the game. The game's real end game, its build system complexity and its combat really starts to come alive, but they keep it all gate kept behind progressing through the story. And so I think a lot of people played the game for the market that they did capture, but they never made it to the second half. They're just like, yeah, this game's ass. And I honestly can't fault people for that, because that's a part of a game's experience as well. But then not only was that a problem, check this out, guys. When I look at the Tribe 9 roster, I know a lot of people in this space, even me at one point, which I've changed my mentality on this after seeing it like over and over. I've seen it enough at this point. But a lot of people seem to think male characters will sell well. While Tribe 9 had a heavy male character roster. Kazuki Aoyama, I love this fucking guy. He reminds me of a favorite anime character of mine in Tower of God. He's best friends with Bam. And he has the same aura like this dude does. He also looks like Killua from Hunter x Hunter. Not getting off track. This dude was awesome. I loved him. But this was one of the male limited characters, right? Count how many women are in here and then count the males, as well as how they're designing them too. Some of them are a little goofy. One male, 2 male, 3 male, 4 male, 5 male, 6 male, although it's a femboy, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 male characters, and how many women? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's it. So this was a game that actually had more male characters than female characters. Furthermore, the female characters weren't like provocative. They weren't like gooner bait. And so I think this was, once again, when you consider what the demographic of the gacha space is looking for, they're looking for idols, they're looking for people they want to fantasize about. And unfortunately, Tribe 9 didn't really go that route with their game, which I think was hella based. But if you're trying to make money, it just doesn't work out that way. And you're going to see the more of these things I list off, the more it starts to compound as to why I think Tribe 9 just couldn't break out into the mainstream. The other thing was the game just had a very unique combat system. It was actually similar to Zenless Zone Zero, except a bit slower, more weighty, more meticulous, which probably turn some people off as well. You know, like people are sitting here playing this game and it's a bit unique, and sometimes unique scares players away. And then on top of that, the game is challenging. This game was way more challenging. I want you to picture Zenless Zone Zero's endless tower mode. That's pretty much what Tribe 9 is though. Like, you will get one tapped by these mobs. They will fuck you up. And so you have that weighty, slower Zenless Zone Zero type of combat, not as like flamboyant and super flashy, more controlled, more time induced, right? And then it's challenging. And in the gacha casual space, I think we're starting to see when other content creators and people say this space is a casual space, they mean that. They mean like these type of elements might not work too well in the space. It's a bit of a concern and kind of an eye opener for me as I'm sitting here covering it. The other thing, when you take that into consideration, nobody wants to play this game on the phone because of those aspects, right? It's a harder and more shit experience on the phone. In Tribe 9, it only offers its service on iOS, iPhone, and Steam. Right. And so like if people aren't liking it on the phone, then they're only going to play it on Steam. Check this out, man. On Steam. Oh my God, dude. That is just, whew. The last 2 hours, 105 people were playing. In a 24-hour time span, 821 people were playing. Guys, my Claire Up Skier Expedition 33 playthrough on my Gacha channel averages that. I average about anywhere from 600 to 800 people on my playthrough for that. And so I look at the all-time peak and I go 9,609. And then I just take in the context I just told you. This game never really captured a large demographic. It wasn't really the scuffed launch that killed the game. It just never broke out. into the mainstream space for the gacha. I mean, look at it. It came out February 20th. When a game launches, guys, you know what a game does when, you know, the game is actually anticipated highly. It goes up. I mean, it shoots the fuck up on that first little bit. And then it goes down. And if it's a good success, it goes down pretty damn slowly, right? It goes down pretty, like kind of like that. I mean, this game, brother, it just went down. I don't mean to laugh. It's just funny saying that out loud. It never went up. It just went down, bro. So this is what I mean by not only did nobody like anticipate the game, the scuffed launch on top of the unique approach to what they were trying to do with their gacha game, on top of the combat experience, on top of them taking a long time to ramp up what the game's beauty is on the second half of playing it. So many elements contribute to this game continuously going downhill, which is incredibly unfortunate. I put up a nice little pie chart right here. I just wanted to give you guys a bit of a perspective. When you take all of these things into consideration, and then you take in the extremely saturated gacha space right now in the competitive market that it is, the consumer constantly demanding for more as technology begins to progress, these Unreal engines constantly keep updating with better graphics, bro, more powerful fucking looks. And once again, people are in this space looking for a idol and a girl to fantasize or a guy to fantasize about. But honestly, the gacha space roots and foundation come from male gooners, to be completely honest with you. So these guys, you know, they're looking for the beautiful visualization games that are going to give them that experience. Tribe 9 was a fucking pixelated game. Another thing that I think worked against them, unfortunately, is in the beginning, it's like pure-blown, full-blown retroactive style with pixelated graphics, which leads some people to go, what the fuck, what am I even playing? It did it to me. I was like, what the hell? Wait, I thought this was a 3D game. Then I went into the combat system. I was like, oh, it's a mixture. The world building and the traversing is retro pixelated, but the combat's 3D. But see, guys in these spaces, they're not looking for a pixelated experience, bro. They want to see full-blown 4K HD titties in front of them. So you look at this, how many of the gacha consumers do you think consumed Tribe 9 in the entirety of the space? I might be nice. 2%? Out of the entirety of the space, I would say maybe 2, maybe 1, maybe 0.5%. Whereas how much did Azir Permilia, Ananta, Wuthering Waves, Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, Zenless Zone Zero, how much of this gacha consumer space do you think they market captured just to try their game? Right? They had bigger juice, bigger power, more ammunition, more guns, you know? I would say probably like right here in the middle, right? This is what a usual hyped up fucking gacha game is gonna do in this space. This is like 2%, but a Azir Permilia, a Ananta, a Silver Palace, brother, they're fucking, it's like half the gacha consumer space, right? Is gonna be right here. And then what happens when we also still play Wuthering Waves? When we also still play Zenless Zone Zero, for some of you guys in the niche, you also still play HSR, Genshin Impact. Oh, but then you got Duet Night Abyss coming out, right? And then you got Azir Permilia coming out, right? Then you got Etheria Restart coming out. The gacha space, the biggest downside of it, it's not expanding, guys. It's not breaking out into the mainstream, which is crazy. Another eye-opener for me. At one point, I thought it was, but you know why it never will? Now that I'm looking at these things and constantly remaining in the space, it's because this space has a bad fucking reputation, not just from the community, but also from the developer and publishers and how they run their games. It's bad business model. It's bad practice. Nobody wants to join a space where all it is comprised of hype, FOMO, and fear of missing out. That's kind of the same thing. Hype, FOMO, and predatory practice, actually. That's the better way to put it. This is why I think we're running into a problem. Tribe 9 is starting to kind of highlight and open your eyes for you. I think this is kind of like, it's kind of foreshadowing a oversaturation and a problem on a much grander scale. I think all of these gacha games coming out are trying to capture the exact same market, much like what happened with Zenless Zone Zero Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail, and now they're dropping another new game. It's like a cannibalization. I remember when I told this shit to people when ZZZ launched. It's a cannibalization of the exact same consumers. And here's the thing, here's the reality. There's only so much money the exact same customer is willing to spend or has to spend. At some point, the space needs to grow, but the space can't grow because the space has a shit fucking reputation in almost all facets. Anyways, that's gonna wrap up all of my thoughts. It is truly unfortunate that Tribe 9 has, unfortunately, I mean, we meme about this all the time, right? End of service, end of service. They actually end of service, man. But I think at the end of the day, it's true. These companies, not only do they not have room for fucking up anymore, they also have to constantly cook with their updates because there's too many fish out in the sea right now. There's too many other games to play. You got Clara fucking Obscure dropping. You got that, what is that, Berserker Kazan game, like mainstream games. And then you got these gacha games like Silver Palace coming out. Competitive space, man. But you know what? I'm actually happy about this. Not for Tribe 9 into servicing. It makes me happy because it lets me know that the gacha space is going to be forced to be a better, more healthier space for the consumer. And I think that's a W overall. Anyways, peace, love, and happiness. You guys comment down below. No laughs today because it's kind of sad. I'll catch you guys in the next one, man.